Yokoso peeps, guess what? This month marks my 10 years in Japan. So awesome. This video is brought to you by all my Patreon supporters. Go Team Awesome! So today, obviously, I'm going to talk about some of the best and worst things that I experienced in Japan for the last 10 years. Before I begin, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. There's 10 years of footage of Japan and my life on my channel. There's travel, there's food, there's restaurant, there's culture, there's crime, there's anything you'd want to know about Japan. Also, if you want to support me and help my channel grow, then you can be a supporter on my Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can get videos that are not available on YouTube. And finally, my newsletter. It's free and I send it out once a month. It includes links to videos, it includes links to stories about the dark side of Japan, and a lot of extra information. The link to Patreon and my newsletter are in the information section. Actually, before this 10-year period of Japan, I'd actually come to Japan once before and stayed for about 3 or 4 years. My first time around, I stayed in Nagoya and I was a teacher for Eon. And then I went back to Canada and then I came back again in 2011. So in total, I guess I've been in Japan for 13 or 14 years. Wow, that's a really long time not to have learned Japanese fluently. Anyway, my second move to Japan was in 2011, pretty much a couple of months after the earthquake. Originally, I had applied to the JET program in Canada. But then on March 11th, the tsunami and the earthquake happened and a lot of people backed out and decided not to go. I, however, wanted to go to Japan regardless, and I accepted the position as a JET program ALT teacher, and I moved to Hokkaido. I had training at the end of June, and in July, I actually went to Hokkaido and started my ALT position.
Welcome to Hokkaido!
I worked in a small town called Takikawa. So here's some good things and bad things that happened to me, I guess, in Hokkaido. So not only was I a JET teacher and the money was good, but I was in a small town, so there wasn't a lot of foreigners. So the foreigners that were there, part of the JET program, we became really close friends, and I had like a new group circle of friends. I was actually married at the time, so my wife and my dog, Maple, we all came together in Hokkaido. And Maple got to see the crazy winter. And though I had been making YouTube videos since around 2008 or 2009, it was at around 2011 where I actually was able to meet a lot of the YouTubers that I was watching when I was in Canada. But they were one of the reasons that I became a YouTuber. And I was trying to think of something that I would say that was not really good about my 2011 when I first came to Japan and first arrived in Hokkaido. Everything was new to me. I didn't speak Japanese, so that was kind of difficult. But other than that, it was great. I got to meet so many people, I got to see so many things, and I got to finally make videos in Japan as a true Japan YouTuber. And I stayed in Hokkaido until 2013, and in 2012 and 2013, I had a great time in Hokkaido. Not only was my job pretty easy and fun, but I was pretty much going hardcore on YouTube. I was making almost like a video a week, if not more, sometimes 2 videos a week. And I was really pushing it, and I was starting to get really popular on YouTube. I was like able to meet a lot of other YouTubers who were up and coming as well. And not only on YouTube, but even in the town, not only was I getting close to some friends that were foreigners, but I also met a lot of Japanese friends. And specifically, I met a group of people in Hokkaido who asked me to join them and be a vocalist for their band. And that was a big chunk of my life in Hokkaido. I would practice with them every week, and we'd go to rehearsals, and we'd actually perform. And I guess the biggest bad thing that happened to me in Hokkaido was my wife and I decided that things were not going as we were expecting, and we kind of like parted ways. We got divorced, and she moved back to her hometown and I moved to Chiba. and we're pretty friendly. We still send messages once in a while, so there was no like arguing or hating or anything. So it was a good separation, and she's really happy where she is now. In 2013, I moved to Chiba with my dog Maple. I guess the good thing was I got a new job, so I decided to join a company where I was a kindergarten teacher, and I got to travel around to many schools around the Chiba area and the Tokyo area and teach little kids ages like 1 to like 5, 6 years old. So it was an interesting experience and a good step for me in terms of learning how to teach and how to be a teacher in Japan. I was also, in terms of YouTube, I was also close to a lot of YouTubers, because most YouTubers are in the Tokyo or Chiba or that kind of area. So I was able to meet a lot of YouTubers in Tokyo. I was able to go to the Tokyo meetups, the cherry blossom picnics, all that stuff. I would say my years from 2013 to 2015, those 2 years were like my closest I got to being my dream come true of a full-time YouTuber. Since I watched YouTube in like 2008, I'd always wanted to be a full-time YouTuber. That's what I wanted to do as a job. And I think 2013, 14, 15, those 3 years, I made a lot of videos, I made a lot of contacts, I made a lot of acquaintances and friends on YouTube, and I was pretty much on the brink of finally having my channel, I guess, get enough subscribers and get enough views to become a full-time YouTuber. I was just on that point, and it didn't happen. And that was like, I guess the worst thing about these years, the first, I guess 2013 to 2015, is I watched all the people around me who I looked up to and who were doing so well on YouTube grow and grow and become full-time YouTubers, and they quit their jobs and they became just YouTube makers. And I was with them, but I couldn't move up like them, and I was kind of stuck. And I still don't know what exactly it was about my videos that didn't make me at the same level. There's so many people who have given me so many different reasons, but honestly I think it was just bad luck and bad timing, and probably my bad skills at being a YouTuber. Your dream is to be a Hollywood actor, and you get to Hollywood and you get auditions and you even get small parts, but you're always like that small character in a movie, but then after that you just never go any further, and that's it, and that's the end of your career. And that's what I felt like my YouTube career in these years, in the first couple of years in Chiba was like. So that was, I guess, kind of bad. A good note though is in 2013 I found a cat. I rescued a cat named Kaide, and she's been with me and Maple ever since. So she's a good part of my family, and something that I got that was positive when I first moved to Chiba. Also, coming to Chiba, I met a lot of friends, and I not only friends that I met in Japan, like I met my friends Yoko and Rico, but I also met my parents. My parents came to Japan to visit me for the first time ever when I first moved to Chiba. And then after my parents, my best friend from Canada, Karim, he came to visit me as well. And we toured around different places. We went to Hokkaido and we went to Korea as well. So inhale through your nose and out through your mouth.
So which aromas is it right now?
Right now, ima nani haitteru? We met a whole bunch of people, and we took a whole bunch of pictures, and we had a lot of drinks and crazy times. And this girl here ended up being a good friend of ours, and she decided to come with us the next day for a tour.
Welcome to Miyajima.
location of Ground Zero. And to top it all off, not only that, I gained a roommate. My friend Brian moved to Japan, and just out of the blue, and he contacted me, and then he stayed with me for a few months, and it was a really good time together. And I also auditioned for this TV show, and I actually got hired, and I was on this TV show for about 6 episodes.
日本探求部見つけてくれるのでしょうか。続いての探求バーは魅惑のウィスパーボイスオズ。日本の歌とカラオケが好きすぎてカナダから移り住んじゃった英語の先生です。
理由がすごい。
桜桜って音楽演歌の店かな。すごい。全然。
前から知ってたんじゃないですか、この人。
全然。
これは才能ありますね。
全然。
演歌歌手になれるかもしれない。シングルをプレゼントしようか。
本当ですか？
ね。
そう。
随分と気に入られちゃったね。
ありがとうございます。But yeah, it was a very interesting experience, very fun experience, and it was something that I guess I'll never forget because it was Japanese TV, and you know what that's like. In 2015, my cousin Anil came to visit me, and that was also really good. So that was like a good start to the year. And I actually went back to Canada for a short visit, but I went with Yoko, Rico, and Yoko's mom. And I introduced them to my family, and we went to Niagara Falls, and I became a tourist in my own town in Toronto. So it was kind of a good experience, and I got to see my family and friends again. But 2015 was also one of the saddest years for me because my friend Patrick passed away. Patrick, I had met him when I first came to Japan, my first time around when I was working at Eon, and he was also working at Eon but a different branch. And we became really good friends. We started hanging out together, and then it became I moved closer to where he lived, and then I was between jobs, and so I actually lived with him for a few months, and we were like best buds, I would say. Like a lot of people left Japan at that time that we used to be friends with, so we were pretty much the only two left over from like the first generation, so we were really close that way, and we hung out all the time. And but then he moved to Chicago, where he used to, his hometown where he used to live. He got married. I went to his wedding in Chicago. He went to my wedding in Japan. He did a speech, and we had such a great time together. So we went to each other's weddings. By the time I actually learned about his cancer, it was just maybe like a week or so, a couple of weeks before he passed away. So I never got to talk to him after that. The last time I talked to him was when I met him and his wife when they came to visit Japan from Chicago, and I went and I had a good drink at a bar with them, and I talked to them for a while. But after I said goodbye, I didn't really talk to him much after that. Maybe a few messages on Facebook, and that's it. I think 2016 is where I started doing a lot more Japan travel. I started going to a lot more different onsens, different parts of Japan, and I of course was making so many more videos about travel. So I think my channel went from like my life in Japan to more like travel style vlogging, where I was like introducing places in Japan and things about Japan. I also once again went back to Canada. This time I went back to Canada to meet my parents and sister, and we went on a family vacation to the Dominican Republic. This was our first family vacation since I was a teenager. I can't remember the last place we went. And I guess 2016, the only bad thing I would say about 2016 was I noticeably started going really bald. So I pretty much had to shave my head the way it is now. 2017 was actually a really interesting year as well. I got to do a lot of interesting, weird things. I started making 2, I guess, videos on my channel. One was called This Week in Japan, and another one was called What's the Point? And both of those videos allowed me to go around Japan and do so many different things. I interviewed a maid at a maid cafe. I interviewed a pole dancer at a pole dancing restaurant. I was in a music video at the YouTube studios with Case on Death. There were just so many people and so many things that I was doing that it was a really fun year. It was also the year I met my friend Ryan. Ryan, which we call Mr. Hotel, has come to Japan quite a few times. I think he's more than 10 times maybe. And whenever he comes and we hang out, we stay at hotels, we go traveling, and we have a good time together, and he's a funny guy, an interesting guy. So we really get along, and he's a good friend of mine. So I met Ryan, so that was really cool. At the end of 2017, I would say I was focused a lot on YouTube because I broke up with the girl I was dating for long term, and unfortunately that ended. It was also a very clean, nice break. There was not arguing or fighting or hating each other, and once again I still am in contact with her. We still talk a lot, we're good friends. So that was another good thing, but it was a happy ending, I guess, but it was sad. And in 2018 I was single again. Also, my friend who I was in high school with, he came to move to Japan, and we ended up getting back in touch and hanging out a lot. So it was a good year for friends. Even Karim, my friend, came back to Japan to visit me, and with Karim I ended up not only going around Japan and going to Okinawa for my first time, but we also went to a place called Jeju Island, so it was another good adventure. I would say the only bad thing about 2018 really was my health. I started noticing that I was getting tired all the time. I was sleeping like 10 hours a day, but I would still wake up completely exhausted. And then I think the biggest, I guess, incident that made me realize that I think something's wrong is I started like feeling really thirsty and drinking like 2 liters of water a day pretty much, but still being so thirsty, and then peeing like 100 times per day, like pretty much once or twice an hour. So I got really freaked out and I went to the doctor, and yes, it was confirmed that my blood sugar was really high and I was suffering from type 2 diabetes. So that was kind of like my wake-up call that, oh my god, I'm just going crazy with food and restaurants and stuff and not doing any exercise and not taking care of my health. And I think 2018 was like the shock of my body. 2019 I quit my job as a kindergarten teacher. I enjoyed it, but it was 6 years, I had enough, and I decided to get a new job, and I ended up getting a job as a direct hire for a board of education as an ALT. And so what that meant, I could move to a different town in Chiba. I was getting like government kind of pension and that kind of stuff, and the salary was higher, and it was just like an overall better job. 2019 was also the year that I started hanging out and had made a friend with a girl named Mayu, who ended up becoming my girlfriend, who ended up becoming now my living partner here in Japan, where I live now.
聞きたくないよ I love you No
Also in 2019, my parents came back to visit me, and they came during Sakura season, so I could hang out with my parents and show them cherry blossoms of Japan. So that was really nice. And at the end of the year of 2019, Mayu and I decided to take a vacation together, and we went to Thailand. And I think that was her second time leaving Japan. So it was really like a fun trip, and I'd never been to Thailand before. So it was a very memorable trip that I think is probably one of the best places I've ever been. We went to a place called Phuket. I think there was honestly not one negative thing I can think about 2019. I really had a good year. Everything was great. Because the year after, as everyone knows, the shit hit the fan. 2020 was of course the year that the world got stuck with the corona pandemic. And since then we've been having this ongoing issue with deaths and people getting sick, and not just physically but mentally, and also like society, the economy, and just like businesses closing down, and everyone going from like being able to travel and enjoy life to having social distancing, wearing masks, getting temperature checks, not being able to travel outside their country. So 2020 I would say mostly was a bad year. I was lucky because in Japan, although the cases were kind of high, there wasn't that many restrictions, and they tried to do something called the Go Travel campaign, so they wanted to keep the economy going. So I actually ended up traveling at lower discounted prices to Okinawa with Mayu and to Tochigi for Maple's birthday. So we still were able to take small trips across Japan, but we weren't able to go to Canada, where I wanted to go to introduce Mayu to my parents. or go to any other country. We were thinking about going to Vietnam, but that also didn't work out as well. And of course, I guess one of the good things about 2020, despite the corona pandemic, was I was able to stay home much more, so I was able to be around Maple and Kaide more and hang out with them more, so I'm sure they were happy. And also Mayu moved in she quit her job and she moved in with me to my town, and we live together now. Unfortunately, YouTube wise, I couldn't really make a lot of travel videos, and even the videos I made, I noticed a big decline in viewership, and I kind of started seeing that this is kind of like the final death rattles of my channel. I realized that it completely crushed my dream of being a YouTuber, at least in the kind of YouTuber that I was thinking I would be, like a YouTube J vlogger, kind of Japan introduction person. I'm better at other stuff. For example, writing, because my writing has been doing much better than my video making, and I've had more success in that field. I kind of like missed that boat, so I'm gonna be taking my next route, take the next street, rather than give up, because I've been on YouTube for, like I said, for 10 years or 12 years now. I'm not gonna just give up cold turkey and just shut down my channel. So even though I've given up on the dream that YouTube will be a career for me, or it'll make me enough money to survive as a career, it's definitely changed to a direction of I'm gonna put more effort into the actual things that I like doing. I guess I'm getting older as well too, so my old videos where I used to wear wigs and act like an idiot, those are funny and I still like those videos, but I realized like I don't think I can do that anymore. So I'll most likely be doing more serious related videos about Japan. I would say the bad thing besides Corona in 2020 was also health-wise, because they closed the gyms for a while and because I was working home for a while, I lost a lot of the weight loss and the routine I had to stay healthy. 2021 is going pretty well for me compared to 2020. Things are still, of course, bad in terms of the pandemic, but vaccines are coming out and hopefully will be coming to me soon. I don't have one yet. My sister had a baby, so I'm finally an uncle, so that's the first time, so it'll be interesting. I still haven't been able to meet my nephew, but hopefully that'll happen this year or maybe next year. And of course, Mayu and I are doing really well. Work is going well. I'm healthier than I was last year, so I'm starting to get back into the rhythm of good food and good exercise and good lifestyle. So that's another good thing that happened in 2021. I would say the only bad thing that happened in 2021 so far was the news of my best friend Karim's mother passing away. And that was a really shocking news, and really, I guess I knew it was coming because she'd been suffering for like 7 years, I believe, from Alzheimer's, but I didn't think it would be so quick. So it was really shocking to hear the news when he told me. I have so many good memories of her since I was a child, because she was like my second mother, I would say, because I used to go to my friend Karim's house like almost every weekend when we were young, and we would sleep over at each other's houses, and I went on vacations and like birthday parties and amusement parks and just so many places with Karim and his parents. So his parents were like pretty much my second parents, and hearing about his mom passing was really sad, but also hearing about how much she was loved and how her final moments were peaceful with my friend Karim, that kind of gave me a little bit of hope as well, and kind of gave me like motivation to just enjoy my life and try to just enjoy every moment. So finally, I just want to talk about my overall 10 years in Japan and what I learned. I kind of figured out what I like about Japan and what I don't like about Japan. I of course like the food, the safety, the service is amazing, and also the people are very kind. I also like this uniqueness of the scenery. I like the onsens and the mountains and just the general feel of Japan. But I also realized there's a lot of things I don't like. I specifically don't like the work culture here. And I don't have personally myself, but I've seen everyone around me, and I don't like how everyone overworks and just works more than they have to and stresses themselves out more than they have to, and just the culture of the work environment. And I also don't like the summers of Japan. They're very, very hot and very, very humid. But the winters are great. I'm also not really into a lot of the Japanese entertainment. I'm not into like manga or anime or idols or Japanese movies or dramas too much. I mean, I'll watch some of them, they're okay. I like the music though, the music ain't too bad, some parts of it, but once again, it's not my cup of tea. Sometimes I wonder what my life would be like if I had never been to Japan. Would I be happier, richer? Would I be dead by now? Who knows? Nobody knows. Thinking backwards and reminiscing about times is a good thing if you're thinking about all the good memories. But if you're looking back to see if you did something wrong or you should have changed something or you regret something, I feel it's like wasted time because you can't change the past anyway. So you should just be happy with what you accomplished and just move forward. So despite the up and downs that I did have in Japan, I think the fact that I had these ups and downs is the important thing. Will I have another 10 years in Japan? Will I go somewhere else? Who knows? But I think that is the best part of life, not knowing what's coming. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. Those are the words that my dad told me, and he was right. So yeah, just basically keep doing you and enjoy life, because nobody knows what's gonna happen and no one knows when their last day is gonna be. And don't get me wrong, I hope I have many decades of life still to come, but the life I've lived so far, I'm glad I did what I did. I feel like rather than wasting time and just sitting around thinking about things and wishing I'd done something, I think I honestly did do everything that I wanted to do. Whether I failed or not is a different story, but I tried my best to do what I could do and enjoy my life and take advantage of every opportunity I was given. Thank you for sharing my 10-year Japan-niversary with me. So if you've been watching for 1 year or for 10 years, or this is the first time seeing me on YouTube, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully not only did you get to know more about me and my life and about Japan, but hopefully this video helps you, gives you motivation to do what you want to do and to maybe come to Japan or do something else in your life that you've always wanted to do. And whether you fail or not, at least you tried. I think that's my best message I can give you. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then definitely give it a thumbs up. Leave any comments you want. And like I said, subscribe because my videos are awesome. OzzyAwesome. Take care and see you next time. Peace.